It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Finally, the Overwatch Open, sponsored by FACEIT and ELEAGUE, is kicking off today. Group C for Europe, REUNITED versus BFLY. Just to get things started, REUNITED already one of the strongest teams that we've seen throughout Overwatch's young history. Very excited to be here. I'm AskJoshi, casting with Jorisar.
This is going to be absolutely excellent. The first match of the day, and we have an action-packed day for you today. We're going to be going through all of Group C in both Europe and North America. REUNITED taking on BFLY, who are boot camping at the moment. So they might have snuck in on points, and everyone's going, well, REUNITED are obviously the heavy favorites. They are, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the improvements from BFLY as they boot camp, and I'm very excited to see what they're coming out with here. I'm also, to be honest, a little bit of me really happy to see Outsider again.
Yeah, Outsider, it has been a long time since I've cast him, to be honest, but REUNITED already on the defense with that very well-situated back of points defense with D.Va and Winston actually as their defensive tanks of choice. Kind of interesting. Winghaven, I talked about his Reinhardt a little bit. Most likely going to be seeing that after the payload starts moving. But Winston and D.Va both have that verticality that allow them to respond wherever that attacking team comes in. It is going to be the top left side here.
And the BFLY at the moment actually stuck a little bit on the ledge. That gives basically a very condensed target for REUNITED to shoot at the moment. But Kid is actually the first pick. Fisher getting him on Reaper, which is excellent stuff. Kyle1 doing a good job on top, just trying to pick off Valitaja, but he has got that Harmony Orb on him. It's going to make it slightly difficult, and now the fight moves to the ground.
Morte and Valitaja both getting a couple of kills there is really good because Kib was actually the first one to go down, and that was a little bit scary losing your Genji so quickly. But yeah, Valitaja just showing us exactly what we were talking about. Just a monster on these hitscan characters. Fisher jumping off the ledge there just to be able to rejoin his team in the spawn room. But so far so good for REUNITED. That's already a minute burned off the clock in one very extended fight.
That was, it was a good positive start coming out of BFLY. If you take a look, they actually have Sound Barrier basically done now. So Faz, through that, managed to get more ult charge than Cruz. There were definitely a lot of positives to take away from that as well, and they could get set up with up to 3 ultimates for this next fight. I'm specifically looking at Badger and Kyle to potentially support that. Oh, and pardon me, Fisher might have a Death Blossom available.
Well, Mort just got his Transcendence, so they will have at least one defensive ultimate to go. Oh, Kyle flies off the side. I'm not sure if he got jostled there by that Winston popping his Primal Rage, but he's actually got dueling 1000 HP gorillas at the moment on the point, but that Orb of Discord is going to allow him to get melted down by Valitaja again. Valitaja has a lot of freedom here so far, and I think that BFLY may want to try to just prioritize him. The first time they came in, they found Kid very quickly and took him out. It hasn't had very much luck since then, and they're burning about a full minute per attack, so it's kind of actually working against them to have these long extended fights. They need to commit to something and decide if they're going to try to wipe it or finish it off very quickly. Now with all the ultimates in hand, this should be a big fireworks show for us.
Indeed, you are right. REUNITED with 5 ultimates now available. BFLY are going to have to do something special here. They had a really close first fight. Second fight, though, absolutely going REUNITED's way, and that proved critical in terms of momentum. Here comes Kip, moving in with the play, manages to get Tile just before he gets his own ultimate off, and he gets 3. That's going to be enough. Valitaja coming in with a little bit of cleanup duty, and BFLY suddenly now have 1 minute and 30 seconds left to even cap the first point. A strong start from them, but they're fading away a little bit here.
Yeah, Kib actually just getting all of it done there, and the team had such an easy job cleaning up. Unfixed nearly lost his mecha suit near the end of that fight, but managed to hang on with just about 100 HP, so well done by REUNITED. He's going to get slowly healed up by that Harmony Orb, and things will be all set when they come back. There's still a defensive ultimate in hand with that Transcendence. BFLY does have an opportunity here, though, with a Death Blossom or Graviton Surge, possibly a combo. Valitaja Deadeye does find Fisher, that Reaper, while he still had Death Blossom available, so I have to imagine this attack is going to fall flat as well. Valitaja still unchallenged up here, and he is so accurate, even though there is damage fall up on McCree. If he's hitting all these shots for free, things are going to die.
Outsider trying his best to stay competitive on the point. I have to say, he did a good job of lasting as long as he did, but he gets picked off by Kib in the end there. And he basically ran out of targets to shield towards the end of that fight, to be honest. BFLY are now getting picked off 1 or 2 at a time. This is going to be their last attack. They're down to the last 30 seconds. It's all important that they're able to stay on the point and actually start getting those picks off on REUNITED now. But with 4 ultimates available on the defense, it's going to be incredibly tough.
Sound Barrier plus Dragon Blade is really all they need at this point. Kib has already shown us that he knows what to do with that Dragon Blade, and he is just biding his time right now, wall jumping, double jumping, staying mobile, not allowing any free line of sight from the attackers. Here comes the Dragon Blade. He's going to dive in immediately on the McCree. Great choice there. He tries to roll away, but of course Genji is a bit more mobile than that. He's just going to continue slicing. Sound Barrier comes out on the side of BFLY to keep everyone else alive, and it's actually doing a great job. They found picks on Cruz and Valitaja finally going down fast, though. getting eliminated is going to look pretty bad for BFLY. They have to secure these last few kills or they're going to be done here.
Casper manages to take out Kib. That's really important. But on the side of Reunited, Unfix actually getting a double in the middle of that. We now have Transcendence moving out to try and pick off the last couple. They are standing on top of the point. It's overtime here on Numbani, but it looks like Reunited are slowly moving back into this Winghaven, causing a lot of disruption, actually jumping in with his Winston. He gets eliminated this time by Faz. That's good because he's the player that was eliminated by him last time around. And it looks like at the death here, BFLY have a fantastic chance to move forward. And that, I mean, they've only got 3 minutes to do the next point, but that was not a first point full point.
That's true. Full holds are very scary as you have to then do a full hold against Reunited just to be able to stay competitive, so it's a good thing. They at least managed to capture point A there at the end. I have to also point out, Valutaja did switch to Tracer and tried to blink in to actually just continue contesting, but he was picked off very quickly, so very good eyes there from BFLY to assess that threat quickly and deal with it. If Valutaja had come through the gift shop, maybe he doesn't get discovered as quickly, so I wonder if that was the right decision.
Well, like we were saying before the match as well, Kib definitely one to watch out for, and he didn't actually get any purchase with the Dragon Blade to begin with. He manages to get 1 kill, but in the meantime, BFLY got 2 of their own, so that was very good from him. Unfix now taking the first kill in the follow-up fight. Here comes Fisher with the death, wilting, unfortunately.
Yeah, just
the death, that's it. No Blossom, guys. Just death over here. High noon from Kyle, looking for targets, won't be able to spot it. Oh, sees one McCree, lets loose the bullet, but isn't quite quick enough to stop him ducking around the corner.
He needs a quicker trigger finger, obviously, if he's going to be playing McCree with a robotic hand and all. Definitely should have hit that Deadeye, but that is going to actually hurt a little bit. Valutaja now with a Deadeye of his own, but everyone doing a good job on BFLY, keeping that line of sight. Time is ticking down, though. You said they only had 3 minutes to push. Now it's only 1:40, and they've barely gone anywhere. Yeah, it's very, very difficult when you're in this position. At least the payload is moving throughout a lot of this, but here comes the collapse from Reunited. BFLY coming in straight away with Faz on the sound barrier. Kib now looking to finish things off with Dragon Blade, but that was an excellent timing on the Transcendence from Casper. Only Badger has gone down for BFLY right now. It is still 5v4. Kib and Unfix both down and out. Don't forget they've used both of their support ultimates, so the momentum can be with Reunited here. BFLY have to win this engagement. I just noticed that Fisher has actually swapped off the Reaper onto Genji because he was deflecting during Valutaja's Deadeye there, and I was just very confused for a second as we only had Kib up to this point, but good switches there from BFLY potentially to actually negate that Deadeye. Valutaja already has it back, though, and he's most likely going to pull the trigger here just because the number of skulls allows him to take multiple shots, and he can break Reinhardt's shield very quickly and get a follow-up kill. There with that fan is getting the shield quite low, but he is going to get too deep and get taken out. So good at waiting as well, immediately bubbling Reinhardt as soon as the shield got hit by the Deadeye there. Good coordination from BFLY is now Reunited once again. They're going to be collapsing in, but 2 kills very early on. Winghaven getting one in Constellation, and Cruz coming in on the point as well. This is not over yet, and both teams are fighting tooth and nail to try and take control here. 30 seconds left. BFLY don't have a lot of time. It's interesting that BFLY actually is having these long extended fights with Reunited. We've seen top tier teams against lower tier teams very often just be team kill after team kill, and it's interesting that BFLY they have some stragglers. They're not just getting fully ult comboed out, but they do only have 12 seconds. It's a piecemeal death is not necessarily better than a burst death in this situation. Graviton Surge, was that deflected Graviton Surge? Yes, unfixed. Or no, sorry, that was just Outsider using it. That was from Outsider. Yeah. Unfixed was so low on ult, I was like, did he deflect that? But actually, we had Fisher use his Dragon Blade before the Graviton Surge from Outsider as well. I wonder if the order in which that happened could have been tweaked a little bit. Kyle actually getting the flashbang and picking off Genji very early on indeed. 2 overtimes and wow, we now have a second overtime take on the point. BFLY really leaving it to the last minute and keeping us sweating here, but they managed to take the second point against Reunited as well. And like you said, Joshy, you see a lot of these like super famous teams go up against teams that, you know, just about qualified on points, and you go, well, is this going to be a steamroll? BFLY are doing an excellent job so far. It's not the fastest, it's not, you know, it's not the most crisp in the world, but they're getting the job done. Yeah, they had to win a number of matches across 4 weeks of qualifiers just to even get to these playoffs, and they are not taking it lightly. Like you said, they're boot camping together. They are putting up a reasonable fight against Reunited. I know that you and I against Reunited wouldn't stand half a chance. So definitely, even overtime captures are very significant here, as every meter counts in this competition. Now it is just going to be about the capture. Like, if it's an overtime capture and it's really slow, that's fine. They would so much rather defend against that, against a hold where Reunited have all the time in the world and just need to focus on distance. So at this point, they're going to have all the time in the world anyway. Like, this is essentially the longest push possible. True. I guess they have the opportunity to hold, but we'll see. We're now going to be moving in. A Deadeye from Valutaja gets the triple kill and getting the shield down at the right time. Cruz coming in with a foil as well. That is not how BFLY wanted to do this. Lucio, very good job, by the way, staggering that final death
onto Faz, who still has to wait to rejoin the team. I think this might mean that BFLY only have one big team fight left in them. They've got 2 ultimates now in Fisher and Kyle.
It's always funny when you throw that flashbang out as McCree and then you fan, and then you're like, wait, I only have 2 bullets. That's exactly what it looked like there from BFLY, but he was able to reload and get those quick left clicks to finish off the Lucio. But Deadeye is available now for Kyle. Will be able to get a fair few number of skulls here against REUNITED as they're all standing very close to the cart. Of course, Reinhardt is going to be up front, but the more targets McCree has, the more damage he can actually push into Reinhardt's shield and destroy it. It's actually kind of an interesting dynamic. You'll very often see McCree's in pro play pull the trigger anyway for that reason.
Graviton Surge coming out now. Yeah, we're going to see if they can actually make this count. Morte getting the first kill, but Fisher fighting back with his Genji. Kib has the blade out. He's not actually able to get those kills just yet. Both teams with 2 kills each, and Kib goes down as well.
Overtime.
We're into overtime, but there's a difference this time around. They are overtime in a position where REUNITED can respawn multiple times before the payload gets in.
That's true, and they are cleaning up. BFLY was not taken out during that fight, so he was able to survive long enough to pour in the damage and keep REUNITED in control of the cart. Final Earth Shatter, ladies.
Great Earth Shatter.
They're just taking a nap now. Their job is done.
That was really good at the end. Unfortunately, the payload, though, not able to go all the way, and BFLY maybe showing us, oh, there we go. That was the multiple boop coming in from Winghaven and leaping back in. REUNITED able to stop BFLY, but it was definitely not a smooth road. BFLY able to take the fight to REUNITED on several occasions. Not the quickest we've ever seen, but they were adept at getting the job done. And then at the last, BFLY with this play over here, looking for the bullets, does find them eventually. It actually helped stagger the deaths.
That's true. BFLY's multi-kills definitely a huge part of that successful defense. Even though they did lose A and B essentially to overtime pushes.
There's heat haze over a single building there. Someone's cooking.
Yeah, I think the track is melting. Something's going on.
They should get an engineer out to look at that, man.
Totally. Do you want to go ahead and ship out to Numbani and advise?
I'll just put a call into the right people. It'll be fine.
You're a logistics man, I see.
Exactly. I'm the facilitator. I'm not the executor.
All right.
This is a beautiful map, though.
It is. Excellent map. BFLY here is going to be on the defense this time around, and it looks like they are sticking with the Torbjorn to start things out, and that actually, I hate that, to be honest. Like,
well,
that's
let's put it this way.
Never actually worked from my experience.
It hasn't been effective so far, has it?
It has not. I've seen the last Torb that we saw was an actual top-tier team, and they had a Torb survive long enough to throw one armor pack.
We got an armor pack.
And then get dunked on. So I still don't like Torbjorn.
So this is like the alternative location to a turret. You sometimes see teams with a Torb move out that turret sort of closer to the billboard, if you like, in the back of the picture right now, and they've chosen not to. They're moving it behind the pillar instead. The problem is if the entire team come out from the first floor location, you can snipe the turret straight away. But if it's a ground-based assault, it's a little bit annoying because as soon as you step onto the point, the turret actually is line of sight from you. So a lot of this depends on where REUNITED engage.
Well, this is totally an aerial assault team. They've got Winston, D.Va, and Genji all ready to go. Yeah, they're going to leap right on that thing. They actually don't even have to. Genji can hit it from distance. Zen can hit it from distance. We'll just see what happens. BFLY here on Tracer is what's interesting me. I want to see how he does.
We have BFLY actually staying on top here. So the one place to come from where the turret is most vulnerable, at least they're there with the people.
Already in the back line.
Oh man, he's sneaking in. Can he actually get a couple of kills to start things off there? No, he's looking. I think D.Va actually did that job for them. Unfix and Kib getting a kill each. And where are the kills from Torb? Like you said, Joshy,
Torb's dead. His turret's dead, and now he's dead. Torb has no survivability. When the turret's taken out, he's just running around trying to place another turret. There's really nothing he can do. Shotgun right clicks do a bit of damage, but not basically more than anyone else. So they are going to get taken out very quickly. Only a 45-second or so take on point A.
I mean, guys, don't get us wrong. We want to see Torb work here.
He just doesn't.
He just doesn't. It's really sad. Credit to Outsider for giving it a go. I mean, as far as though like big risk, big reward kind of scenarios, Torbjorn probably wouldn't have been our first pick.
His survivability is basically nil. If you get lucky and wipe them, you get some armor to dole out to your team. That can definitely help, but it's so rare. I don't think I've ever seen it in competitive play in the last 2 months. But either way, Kib is going to be moving forward here, leading the charge for REUNITED. Deflect is going to keep the BFLY folks at bay, but this is where we usually see the first round of ults.
Oh, and here comes Kib with the slicing. Are we going to get the kills? Yes, we actually pick up the support straight away, so Faz going down very quickly indeed. And we're actually running out of targets for him right now because the rest of his team are doing such a good job on Moppa. BFLY with the double behind that, and now they're hunting around for Genji. He's actually, well, I guess if you double park, maybe you can stop the payload from moving in there. But REUNITED are going to have a very, very clean push through to the second point.
Yeah, and this is the tricky part about what we saw in the last round, where it's like, yes, REUNITED lost a couple of team fights, and you know, BFLY was able to secure a couple of points, but it took them the maximum amount of time to do it. Defending is much harder than attacking typically in these payload maps, and the fact that REUNITED still held them at all, I mean, you very often will set times in evenly matched games, so it's still a bit lopsided. We can tell now on the attack that REUNITED is not slowing down at all.
No, they're absolutely not. Kyle getting the solitary kill onto Unfixed there as REUNITED plow through the archway, and there's no BFLY crossfire to sort of greet them here. They're still busy getting set up, and here comes Balutaja with the Deadeye. We have sound barrier for them as well, allowing them to get an excellent position, basically perpendicular in here. REUNITED are now going to try and parallel park their way to victory on Numbani. Fisher getting a couple of token kills, and actually they managed to go 2-1 so far, so they're trying to extend this, but they've used all their ultimates in doing so.
Yeah, they have to stay actually on the cart the entire time, and that's just an extremely difficult thing to do. Kib now with Dragon Blade looking to try and shut this out. Casper going down very quickly. Outsider getting eliminated, and that's all it's going to take, I think. I don't know where he's going. Cart is still contested, Kib. Why don't you just go back?
Right, there we go.
There's Kyle 1 as the final standing member for BFLY. Oh, Primal Rage Winston still doesn't last long with Discord, and when you leap away from the cart, they can still push it, Winston, but that's
fair,
okay.
He came back to Earth eliminated, so...
He did plummet back down.
All right, so we have a victory there on Numbani for REUNITED. BFLY, I'd have to say, showing us great spirit in attack and actually giving us something to cheer for, really, which is really, really cool. On attack there, they really tried their best, but where it mattered was defense for REUNITED. They were just so unbelievably strong.
Yep, and great accuracy there. That was the play of the game. In the end was the Balutaja triple Deadeye into Lucio, left-clicking, but here are some highlights here for you, Kibs. Dragon Blade was one of those driving factors here on REUNITED's attack, but BFLY did reasonably well on offense. They didn't set a time, but they didn't get totally stomped out.
Yeah.
On the defense, they totally kind of got stomped out. It was what we expected from REUNITED.
I think I'm glad that the teams played that map that way around to allow us to build BFLY up a little bit, because REUNITED on attack looked beautiful. I think that, yes, okay, there could have been improvements here and there. We could sit here talking about Torb for a little bit, for example, but at the end of the day... I don't think we need to even mention that name again. Like, I think REUNITED actually were just very coordinated, and when they pushed in, they were getting those pickoffs as well, and they didn't really give BFLY a word in edgeways. It wasn't anything particularly like, oh my goodness, this is terrible moving into the streets phase, I don't think, for BFLY. It's just they weren't getting in position quite quickly enough, and REUNITED with their flanks picking off 1 or 2 ahead of the main engagement were just absolutely phenomenal.
That's true, and there is a possibility of Nepal, possibility of Gibraltar. After seeing that payload map not go BFLY's way, they have the selection, and it is actually going to be Nepal. Switching up the modes is very common in pro play. You usually want to get at least one control map in there just in case things go south on the payload maps, and as we expected, Nepal is going to be that selection from BFLY.
I think this is a very positive choice from BFLY as well. Obviously, in a best of 3, if they were to come back against REUNITED, they have to win on Gibraltar anyway. But those long, protracted fights that we saw when BFLY were on the offense there on Numbani, they were taking it toe-to-toe with REUNITED a lot of the time. And even when REUNITED were winning those fights, you look, for example, at the kill feed and, more importantly, the health bars of the players, and you were actually seeing they were trading kills and just trying to jostle for position. In the second halves of those fights, REUNITED were better. But to start off with, BFLY, where the confidence was there and the execution to a large extent was there as well. So it's not surprising that they're going to Nepal here, I think.
That's right. BFLY taking it to that control map, Nepal. We have seen a number of times, actually, some interesting character selections as well on these control maps. We saw Farah actually come out a little bit yesterday in the NA matches, but EU still have not, gone back in time to work with that meta. We also haven't seen, Mercy very prevalent recently, and Farah is best buddies with Mercy. So here we go on Nepal. You can see the beautiful map intro, all the wonderful pans. We've got a great team here at the studio assembling these videos and working on all the observing. Going to give them a shout out once more. Thanks, guys, for your hard work all week as well. It's not just the casters and the hosts. Definitely a lot of work behind the scenes.
It's all of the excellent panning.
Yes, the panning specifically. There's no pan right now. I wish it was just the best pan. There! Look! Oh,
hi,
it's so
Jackie,
beautiful.
how are you?
And it's
Sliggy,
in the perfect spot to capture this team, BFLY, just running out the gate. They are also going to battle it out on the high ground to get us started.
All right, so we're going to be starting out here with the traditional brawl, I have to say, on this point on Nepal, as Kib tries to get a couple of early picks off. More importantly, though, the tanks actually fell very quickly for BFLY there. An outsider did not get too much done at all. So Reunited will be able to get the better of them this time around. But the next time BFLY come in, it'll probably be from the low ground, I suspect, as a team. And they're going to be able to basically try and take the point back without too much time lost, because it only just got unlocked.
That's true. 2% already to Reunited. Of course, as it did just become unlocked, BFLY running through the same exact route. I think that is to try and dislodge anyone who did establish themselves on the high ground. You don't want to run through the low ground to try and contest that, but Reunited not giving up any deaths at all to BFLY.
Oh, wow. And all of a sudden, Reunited are absolutely coming onto their own here. We're basically looking to get a kill off Reunited, and we haven't actually found that so far. Outsider, the last person to go down there, and that's going to stagger the death as well as Reunited go up to 28%. I feel like Attack on Numbani must have just made them mad or something, because this is dominant to start things off on Nepal.
Yeah, they didn't want to give up any capture points on Numbani, and now that they have, they're basically trying to reel it in and finish the job here on Nepal. 40% now to their name. They are not going to go the high ground anymore. That didn't work out the first time. Might as well switch it up. The definition of insanity and all that. But here we go. Dragon Blade out for Fisher, looking for that Lucio, and Zen actually in his crosshairs gets Kib as well. Fisher actually doing a great job here with this ultimate, and it lasts 10 years long, so he gets 10 kills out of it. No, I'm just kidding. Graviton Surge is going to allow them to finish it up. I don't think they actually need to use the Graviton Surge, though, unfortunately.
He got Cruz as well at the end of that, by the way, so Zenyatta and Lucio both going down just gave BFLY a lot of momentum, and that flips the point with Reunited on 65. That was very well played by them. And yeah, props to Fisher. They needed a big team wipe like that, and they needed one outstanding performance from the DPS players to get that wipe. And on this occasion, Genji delivered.
Pulse Bomb ready for Kyle1. This time it's BFLY on the defense, so he may be able to find an opportunity on some clumped members of the attacking team Reunited, but they've already flipped it. This happens sometimes where the teams that don't sit on the point. Soundbarrier actually out for both sides right now, so the kills are going to take a few seconds. That Transcendence actually keeping Reunited in full health is potentially going to give them the ability to slowly wipe BFLY. It looks like it's just a lot of poking and prodding, not a ton of ultimates coming out. Zarya, you can see the Death Star battle going on there with the giant lasers, but it is going to be Unfixed coming out on top.
And that flipping the point early is so important as well, because let's imagine Reunited took the point after wiping BFLY here. It's 93 to 18% right now. It could have been 70 to 40. Right. So it is a big swing when you let the opposing team take the point at the start of that team engagement. And Reunited are going to be able to take the first point there. BFLY did show some spirit in fighting back, but Reunited just a little bit too much.
The player Badger playing a gorilla gets killed in midair. That was just brutal end to that first round.
Trying his best to stall out.
Trying his best to reach the point, but unable to do so. And here we are going to go to the Shrine portion of Nepal. We do see all three, you know, Shrine, Sanctum, and Village always, because it is best of 5 rounds here on the control maps. And I'm just looking at the compositions on both sides. It's actually a mirror composition this time around.
I'm looking at Kyle1. I think he's going to be a player that I'm watching quite a lot, because on this Shrine point in Nepal, it is known as Tracer's Playground for a reason. There's just so much open space to zip in and out of, and an outstanding performance by your Tracers and your Genjis really make the difference on this point. And of course, Valutaja and Kiv, they need no introduction, and we have to see Fisher and Kyle1 here really up their game and basically take the fight to Reunited here. They're going to try and do just that. Valutaja, though, getting the first pick.
Yeah, there was actually a lot of damage done by the Winston player, Winghaven, to get him low, and then Valutaja, of course, able to do so much sustained damage, able to get in there for the kill, and fighting 5v6 against Reunited is not something I would ever want to do, but Valutaja still working away at the tanks here, getting multiple kills here for Reunited.
Yeah, and this is exactly the kind of job the Tracers are doing on this map. You're watching basically a Valutaja versus the world showdown here, as he contributed to damage on at least 3, maybe 4 of those kills as well. And more importantly, stayed out of trouble. As soon as someone focuses him down, you can see he ducks in, grabs those health packs, waits until he's out of vision for a while, and then focuses on ducking back in and just trying to catch someone else by surprise. Just constantly zipping in and out and not allowing yourself to be a focus for the enemy team target.
Speed boost in here now for BFLY, trying to get back onto the point. Casper goes down incredibly quickly again. Unfortunately, losing the Zen at the beginning of the fight, you lose that Discord Orb and Harmony Orb, any chance of Transcendence. Kib has the Dragon Blade out. This should be enough to basically start the dominoes falling. Doesn't need to kill everyone with it, because everyone will eventually go down to the outnumbered well, outnumbering Reunited.
Well, we've got, I mean, let's see what BFLY's options are for retaking here. They've got 3 ultimates available right now, and Faz nearly has a sound barrier. They won't have both support ultimates, which might be a good thing, because if Casper's able to build enough ult to get Transcendence on the team fight after this, that could be good for them, but they do have to use this very well indeed. Here comes Badger jumping in, and it looks like going to be a quick engagement from BFLY to start things off, so Winghaven is going to jump back in and put the bubble onto the point. That is 2 ultimates immediately used. Badger now absolutely slugging away, but so is Winghaven, and this is a really awkward duel in the middle of the map. It could last quite a while.
Yeah, this happened on Numbani as well a little bit, where the Primal Rages went up against each other, but if you notice, it's actually Reunited losing Mort there, but unfortunately BFLY still losing Casper. Casper has died so quickly each time, and that's, of course, in large part to Valuetaja. That's his job. Go find those supports, and he's still just drilling through them. Valuetaja and Kib, I don't think either one of them have died yet this game.
I'm going to rename this point Valuetaja's Playground. Did I say Tracer? I meant Valu here, because he... BFLY have to acknowledge that they need to pick off Valuetaja early, because his sustained damage throughout these engagements when he hasn't... I mean, it's not easy to pin him down, but you need to try and do that first, because the amount of damage he does over the course of 30 seconds in one of these prolonged engagements is actually bordering ridiculous right now. There's a big Graviton Surge coming in. We'll see if we can get the damage done. Here comes Kib with the Dragon Blade, though, and wow, he actually only has 2 targets left, and that is a full team wipe for Reunited to take the second point.
Yeah, you love seeing the Genji just run around with his sword, just looking for targets, but because your team's already killed them all.
There are loads of bells on strings in Nepal. I wonder if, like, if you unsheath your sword at the right time, you get some bells falling to the ground.
Probably not, though it's a good suggestion.
Health and safety would be a bit dangerous. Yeah. They'd have to sign some forms.
I actually want to point out something that Kib was doing that was kind of interesting, kind of weird, not super impactful, I guess, but he was kind of skating on top of that wooden ledge. Did you notice that? That's not actually a surface you can stand on. So as long as you're just kind of wiggling back and forth, jumping enough, you know, you can actually stay up there quite a long time, and that's what he was doing. You can't actually just stand there. So kind of interesting. He was able to stay up there for so long. That's why he kept bouncing back down to the ground and back up, just to get that scouting information, essentially, for Reunited. But something you don't actually see very often that he employed quite well. Now the gates are open here. It is going to be the Sanctum. You can see all these floating statues. I don't know what the tech is behind that, but it is the future.
Big magnets, man.
Big old magnets. Yeah. Here we come out of the gate. We've got a McCree in play this time, and Fisher on the Reaper for BFLY. No Tracer Genji this time around.
Alrighty, so very different, of course, the way this point plays out compared to other points on Nepal. You have a lot of environmental kills because of the pit here in the Sanctum. You have to be very, very careful for that. A couple of members of Reunited getting very low, but if you take a look at the hit points of BFLY as well, Kyle sustaining a lot of damage, and Badger actually getting dangerously close. He's going to have to back up there and pop the bubble. He's now onto the point. Valuetaja coming in with the Pulse Bomb. Not able to get any deaths right now, and BFLY are so low on hit points right now. And yep, there we go. That is the straw that broke the camel's back. 4 kills, and we're looking for the 5th and 6th. BFLY are trapped in a corner right now. Outsider has nowhere to go, and everyone gets reset.
Unfixed with the monstrous Zarya play. Shields, all appropriate timings. Damage, super high. Graviton Surge, ready to go, but he was essentially in a confined space with a bunch of members of BFLY and just kind of let it rip with those right clicks, getting tons and tons of damage. Here we go. This is going to be an ambush. Graviton Surge catches almost the entire team. Winston Bubble gives him 600 extra health, but that is not enough, clearly, as almost everyone is in on this slaughter. Reunited doing a great job there, and Kib getting a couple of those final blows, but that is a team kill. 30% now for Reunited. They have to feel good about that one because they still got 4 ults available on the side of Reunited.
That is going to be rough for BFLY to try and come in and contest. I mean, at the end of the day, with an ult advantage or with a positioning advantage, you can always try and do that. But when they don't have either against a really determined Reunited team, they're going to have to pull out something a little bit special. They still can, though, and there is still time. 46% on the point. Pulse Bomb to start things off. A couple of members getting reasonably low from BFLY, but nobody dying yet. Kyle is going to be the first casualty here. And here comes the sound barrier, keeping everybody alive for a little bit. Fisher with the Death Blossom, not able to finish off Cruz. No, he gets it just afterwards, so that's a double for him. But Winston jumping back onto the point. Reunited still have bodies on the floor here by the looks of things, as Faz gets a double as Lucio. Crucial eliminations, and that should allow them to retake this point.
I will point out just something, you know, very simple. Graviton Surge ambush got them a full team wipe. BFLY had to use 3 ults, basically, to do the same for their side.
Exactly.
So this is really where the efficiency comes in. This is the reason that they're not, you know, very likely to be able to topple Reunited. Reunited's just very efficient. They get everyone in on the same battle plan, where BFLY, they have to use these ultimates just to be able to claim the point at all. And it's going to give Reunited the ult advantage almost every time throughout the course of a full game.
Winghaven getting picked off first, though, and with the rest of the team actually going to be waiting for it to come back.
They let Reunited just stand on it again, too.
Yeah, they need to not let them them like basically not give 5 to 10% of the point away for free as the fight starts. But I think you make a good point. BFLY can do these fantastic performances, but it feels like they're using more resources than REUNITED to achieve the same thing.
And that's REUNITED. That's credit to REUNITED, staying alive a lot better, not allowing themselves to get one and done ulted to death. But yeah, they got to stop letting REUNITED just take the point at the beginning of fights. Like you pointed out, that's a lot of percentage going either way, and REUNITED snuck basically 10-15% off of that one little engagement that they should not have gotten.
And that could, I mean, that could be the difference between a point catcher and not, but here comes Transcendence starting things off from REUNITED, and Amort going all the way in. Kyle and Fish are both going down. Kib and BFLY are continuing their dominance here by saying, guys, don't forget about us, we're on a different point, but we can still do just as much damage, and wow, that is another team wipe for REUNITED. If you take a look, Cruz still has sound barrier available.
Cruz actually booped Winston off with huge amount of health, so he got the rest of his ult very quickly. Winston saved himself by leaping back up out of the pit, and Cruz immediately booped him back down. Yes, it was a very good play there by Cruz. And this is looking to be a 3-0 here now for REUNITED 2-0 series. If they just get a few more percentage points, it's going to be one more big battle for BFLY. They come running in, but they have no ults to their names. Fisher has swapped onto Tracer just to get back to the point a little bit quicker, but BFLY with that sound barrier and his deadly accuracy, that's all he needs basically to start cleaning up, and the rest of the team getting kills across the board. Pulse Bomb to finish the job. Outsider goes down, and so do the hopes of BFLY of winning this match. Here come the GGs. Well played, REUNITED. BFLY looked a little bit better on, I mean, as bad as that game was on Numbani for them, they still looked a little bit better there than on Nepal.
Yeah, I think especially on the third point, I mean, we got to that 70-40 we were talking about rather than 95-18 on the second. No surprise, by the way, for BFLY getting play of the game. Great that it's actually on the second point as well. Just so much fun ripping through the entirety of the rest of the team. BFLY more or less went unchecked for this entire point. And I have to say that is one of the reasons why REUNITED are considered one of the best teams in Europe, if not the world, and they really showed us what they were capable of there. BFLY with some great positive intent in their attacking, and I have to say they put a lot of heart into that. You can see it. It was great to watch, but ultimately falling a little bit short. We're joined on the desk now again by ZP and Rachel.
Hey guys, it's good to be back here after that powerhouse match, a great showing from REUNITED. Let's actually, before we get into REUNITED and all the great things they did, let's talk about some of the great things that BFLY did do. We saw they really kind of came together on Numbani when they had to get that final push. Didn't take it all the way, but did have some moments of brilliance. On Nepal, we did see them grab the point back a couple times, and a lot of that was to do with their Reaper. So talk to me about what you guys saw, and can we kick things off with ZP?
Yeah, so let's go back to map 1 here for a moment. Things that they did well when they were doing on Numbani is that they were certainly chaining their support ultimates to deal with Kib. Kib had a period on Numbani where he was flanking to the back and he wasn't getting a whole lot done just because, oh, I'm running into a sound barrier. Oh, I'm running into a transcendence. So they were definitely trying to key in on that and stop Kib from getting quite as much as he wanted to get. But if you talk about things they weren't doing as well, is that I think part of the reason why they had trouble getting things going on Numbani is that they spent a lot of their first point A attack without a dive comp. They had Reinhardt Zarya, and it gave BFLY tons of room to just poke and rain down. And when they did eventually take the point, which cost them a whole lot of time in the lead up, they did it when they switched to a Winston and were able to go up and control more of the high ground. So I feel like if they went in with a slightly different strategy in Numbani, they might have got themselves more time and maybe have even had a better chance of winning that game.
That's quite a good point, actually. If you do see Reinhardt Zarya, sometimes you'll see it accompanied by a Roadhog, so they can actually pull people down from the high ground, but they didn't even have that. So they were just ill-equipped to actually take the point. It did take a string of ultimates to get it in that overtime, but we did see just a number of great highlights there from that Nepal map. Lots of good pulse bombs, graviton surges, all that, and Nepal, another just great performance by REUNITED, and I think a lot of it has to do with just killing Zenyatta super fast. They were down a healer almost the entire game.
I think one of the great points to mention as well is that if you took a look at the Zarya battle between Outsider and Unfixed, there really was no contest on Nepal, but it wasn't necessarily down to those two players. I'd like to get your opinion on this, ZP, because it looked like when the rest of your team are looking out for your BFLY, are looking out for your Kibs, it's a little bit easier for Outsider to go in there and actually laser beam down and get those triple or quad kills. It felt like he was doing mop-up duty really well for REUNITED.
Yeah, Outsider definitely had some good moments, and Zaryas have sort of slowly become the unsung heroes of teams when they have big DPS moments. We've seen people like Cool Matt really explode in recent times. But I would say if I had to give any big credit to a Zarya there overall, Unfixed, especially on Nepal, had massive hero moments where I think it was the opening of Sanctum there where he just went totally off in the very beginning. Yeah. Got full charge early, had a graviton for the second fight. It was great. And just while we're on the topic of ultimates for Nepal in general, one thing that I think was really important to note for REUNITED, not only were they winning a lot of the mechanical v mechanical fights, but anytime you had what I like to call an ult showdown, where both teams have ultimates, are both throwing it on the table, where if you win an ult showdown, you suddenly have a huge, huge benefit because you've won a fight, you have momentum, and you don't have to worry about ultimates coming right back at you. REUNITED excels at winning those types of fights and turning things in their favor. So REUNITED won just about every ult showdown aside from like maybe 1 or 2, and that was a big reason as to why they were able to be so dominant in Nepal.
Yeah, we did see a lot of variety on the kill feed there coming out for REUNITED, and a lot of great ultimates. Let's see which one made it into our excellent play of the game.
I have to think. I really liked the ambush Graviton Surge because they had really no answer for that. It was a very quick one ultimate team kill that I think we didn't see a ton of those throughout the entire match, and BFLY actually did a great job avoiding that as much as possible, but REUNITED's still a bit more efficient. It is actually going to be this triple Deadeye into Flash on the Lucio. It was also the play of the match there on Numbani. Just to relive it, Value Touch, it makes it look so easy with the Deadeye.
Hang on a second. Yep, I found some more bullets. It's fine. We remember this moment very well, and that actually allowed them, of course, to stagger the kill onto Faz and buy them a little bit more time as well. So maybe a blessing in disguise that he had 2 bullets in that chamber.
Yep, it could have been intentional, man. He's a better McCree player than me. I'm sure he knew how many bullets he had in the chamber.
Yep.
Yeah, because he basically asked Lucio, "Do you feel lucky, punk? Do you?"
Don't you normally have 1 bullet in the chamber for that? I feel like that might be cheating. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Manages to get him in the end.
Yeah.
Ultimate on the luck you're feeling there. So, guys, this was a big match for REUNITED. They're going to be moving forward in this bracket. This is super important for them as a team. Talk to me a little bit about their options for who they're going to go up against.
Well, clear if you look at the bracket right now, it does seem like they're going to be on a collision course to go up against the one and only NIP. And those are 2 teams where REUNITED and NIP, they're well acquainted with each other. And more importantly, there have been points where SG1, as they were called, and now, of course, NIP, they've actually defeated REUNITED at points. They did it back on launch day. It's not something that they really make a habit out of overall. Certainly, REUNITED wins that matchup more often than not. But it's also a case where you can't look in and go, oh, NIP has never bloodied REUNITED, because that's not the case. I think you still have to favor REUNITED going in, but if NIP is able to get through Bringos, another veteran team, and we do get that REUNITED matchup against NIP, I think it could be a very good one.
Yeah, Bringos have been playing in the European scene for a very long time under various names. It was, wasn't it actually Gringos and then Northern Gaming Blue, and now back
Bringos.
to Bringos, Blue Gringos, maybe? Is that
That's exactly what they were going for.
Excellent, I like it. But yeah, so we keep talking about sponsorships, and teams trying to pick up these unclaimed superstars, basically, but it doesn't always work out, as we've seen. Northern Gaming actually, they're still on the prowl for Overwatch teams. The first set of blue and red, maybe not their most optimal choices, so Sody Pop, something like that, could end up with a Northern Gaming, something like that. But Bringos back on their own, still, battling it out here, trying to make their way to the ELEAGUE and face it playoffs in Atlanta. That $300,000 tournament really starts there. So their first challenge is going to be that Ninjas in Pajamas team.
And I'm really looking forward to a potential rematch. We shouldn't get ahead of ourselves too much, but I actually remember casting the moment that SG1 were able to win that match against REUNITED, and I was so excited and so happy, and I was wondering how much of a rivalry this will end up being. And to be fair, REUNITED responded with, actually, guys, we're just going to hop into this little top tier here, and they've actually done incredibly well for themselves. But I have to say, since being picked up by Ninjas in Pajamas, this team has been on the up. Are they at the level of REUNITED that we saw just now in this map? Not 100% sure, to be honest, but I think they're going to give them a good run for their money.
All right, well, we're going to find out right after this break as we continue on with Group C. Don't go anywhere.